Hi friends, I'm Logan Clements, virtual event producer and business owner, and today I'm excited to bring you my latest installment in my favorite tips and tricks when it comes to event planning and running your own business. This week we're going to continue what we talked about last week in terms of me trying to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Hold me accountable in the comments below if you think the shorter ones are better. But today we're going to tackle this very important connection that I keep talking about with clients, the connection between content and technology. Why do I want to talk about the link between content and technology? This is because as a virtual event producer, I've found that I'm working with event organizers, hosts, clients who don't seem to understand at times that there is such a close connection between the two. You can't just decide the technology without understanding the content. But I also think there's elements of content that you need to first understand the technology before you know you can execute. Before I keep nerding out about virtual events, please like below, comment, turn on the little notification bell, subscribe so you get my new videos every single Monday. Let me know what kind of virtual events or just regular events that you're planning and what's making you excited these days. As a virtual event organizer, it's really important for when you start thinking about your content is what do you want to bring to your attendees? Why are you even hosting this virtual event? And when you think about the why, I'd also think about what. What do you want to show your participants? Examples of things that you might want to show them: speakers, graphics, panels, videos, sponsor graphics. All of these things are important to think about. Now, when you hear all those things, you might realize, Logan, I don't want to do any of those. I just want to talk with this other person and it's a discussion between two people. That's fine, but you've at least thought about what you want. And because each of these elements are important in different kinds of events, you don't have to have all of them. You don't have to have graphics. You don't have to have videos. But if you do, there's different kinds of technology that you need to use to make that happen. Same thing if you don't have them, then maybe you have more options when it comes to technology if you don't need to utilize some of these elements. Another key thing to think about with your content is how do you want your audience to participate? Traditional Zoom format, sometimes you can do a Zoom meeting where you have everyone on screen, they're able to unmute, they're able to see each other. But maybe you just want them to chat. Maybe you just want them to be able to talk, like in Zoom webinar, where you can unmute people and allow them to ask their question themselves. Or maybe the more popular version, like here on YouTube, you could do a YouTube Live. Attendees aren't on camera, they aren't able to unmute, but they're able to interact here in a live chat that you can monitor and then feed back to your on-screen talent. You need to think about what you want your participants to be able to do. And another key element when it comes to the content piece is how long are your speakers talking for? Do you have some of your speakers who are going to be giving 15, 20-minute remarks? Do you have speakers who are only going to be giving 2-minute, 3-minute remarks? Both when you think about how long, I'm talking about duration of time, while I'm also thinking about, is it pre-recorded? Is it live? What do you want from your content? It's okay if you sit there and say, Logan, I don't know what I want with my content. I haven't decided half of these things. That's okay. And it's okay to start talking to someone about how to make that happen in the virtual sphere. But I found if you have not decided any of the answers to those questions, you really can't even start looking at the technology piece. And what I get a lot of times with clients is they come to me and they say, Logan, what technology should we use? We want to host a virtual event. Tell us the tech. And that's great, and I'm happy to do that, and I love helping them find the solution, but I can't just sit there and say, oh, you have to use this one version, because I don't even use just one version. I've been living a lot in Zoom, but I will not say that's the one-stop solution for everybody's virtual event. What I find is if you've answered some of these questions about what do you want to see on screen, do you want videos, do you want live remarks, do you want panels, and then how do you want your audience to interact, and then how long, so you talk about time, interaction, actual content that's on the screen, that can help me then guide the conversation of, okay, because you want videos, we're not going to do a Zoom meeting because videos lag in Zoom meeting. Or you have someone speaking longer than 10 minutes. Okay, we can't use StreamYard for anything that's pre-recorded longer than 5 minutes. But if the 10-minute person's live and we do less than 5 minutes on any recorded videos, we could use StreamYard to push your event to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. These decisions help me figure out what you want. But if you don't have those answers, then sometimes you have this weird, I call it kind of like, not Frankenstein, but it's reverse engineering the content to fit the tech. What you want is the tech to fit the content. I've noticed very quickly when someone has picked the technology and then they've tried to kind of like force their content into the technology, and there's things that are amiss, that don't happen. Another one, for example, is I had a client that I worked with, and we picked using Zoom as a broadcast studio and having attendees in another Zoom meeting. Actually, during the event day, client was like, oh, we would love to have people on screen. Well, that's a very different thing. And we were able to pull off some kind of creative DIY solution, but it's one of those things that as a producer, I would have loved to know ahead of time, because we could have planned for it and made it look amazing instead of kind of trying to figure it out on the day of. So as an event organizer, you really need to think through these questions about what do you want to be on screen? Graphics, video, speakers, live or pre-recorded. What do you want your audience to be able to do? Will they be on screen on video? Will you be able to hear them? Do you want them just to be in the chat? Do you want them to do polls? Do you want speakers to be able to show slides? And then how long do you want to go for? Both how long as an entire event and how long for each individual little speaker element. These three key things can help me and other virtual event planners help you figure out what's the best technology moving forward. And I guess really what you should think about when you think about content and tech is content's kind of the what and tech is the how. But without the what, I can't really show you how to do it. I can show you how other people have used tech, and maybe that'll give you ideas of what you want for your content, for your what. But it really is the missing piece of once we've decided what you want to do, I will help you find the best solution on the technology side to fit what you want to do. And maybe you're going to have to wiggle a little bit on the content side. Maybe you can't have a 15-person panel. It just can't happen because on the tech side, everyone's going to look teeny tiny like a Zoom meeting and it's not as engaging. But maybe we break up that 15-person panel into 3 5-people panels and now everyone looks bigger. It looks a lot better. That's a tech solution. So we're working together between the content and the tech to work together for a solution. 2 other examples I'll do for the tech side of how I apply the content into the tech decisions. Let's talk about Zoom meeting. Like that other example I gave earlier, in a Zoom meeting, you can have attendees on screen. Granted, you can also have attendees unmute themselves so their audio could come through at any other time. But it enables you, if you want to be able to bring attendees up on screen, if you're doing a more formal presentation and the speakers really need that real-time feedback of looking at engaging with audience members, Zoom meeting might be the right way for them. If you're doing more of formal remarks and videos and a panel discussion, you could use Zoom as a broadcast studio, but broadcast that feed out to your event website, to YouTube, to Facebook, and have the audience watch it in Facebook, in YouTube, on your website, and comment there, and you feed the comments back into your broadcast studio. Another example would be with YouTube Live. I think it's great here, but there's a limitation. Your audience isn't on screen. You have everyone interacting, whichever side it is, on the live comments, but you don't see them on screen. But you then are able to do graphics and all kinds of video elements that in a Zoom meeting would be really hard to pull off, or maybe you would need to hire a streaming engineer or somebody else to help you do that. Versus there's tools like StreamYard that you can use on YouTube Live, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, that you as a singular person, without having necessarily a streaming engineer background, but having a production background, you could execute. So it's just things to think about when you're trying to understand that connection between content and tech. And maybe you're one of those people that I've talked to and I've said, I can't give you the technology answer until you tell me more about the content. This is kind of my longer-winded explanation of why. And so I really, really would urge you, if you are thinking about hosting a virtual event, thinking about planning a virtual event, make sure you think about your content. Think about your what. And then from there, help that guide you to your how, to your technology, to your how do you execute what you want to do. And yes, it's a cycle where sometimes content things just aren't possible on the tech side. Maybe on the tech side, there's some things on the content side you're like, I don't want polls. That's optional. You don't have to do polls. I don't want to do chat. You can disable chat. That's fine. But I think you really, really need to think about that connection and understand that they're not siloed and they're not individual decisions that you can make, or that your content people and your production, technical, like virtual event production team have to be completely separate. It is a dialogue. They need to work together because everything is connected, and you definitely need to think about your content first, decide your tech second, and then be open to the fact that there is going to be some back and forth as you figure out the best solution for your next virtual event. As always, I'm Logan Clements, virtual event producer and business owner, and I'm so excited that you stuck with me for another one of my tips and tricks about virtual event planning and running your own business. I also do regular event planning, but we are living in this virtual world. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like. Don't forget to subscribe below. Comment what kind of virtual events you're planning. Do you have any questions about the decisions between tech and content? Do you disagree? Do you think tech should come first? Let me know, and I look forward to catching up with you all next week. Bye.